Hi there, and welcome to week 2 in our EDTE 4200 class. This week we're going to talk about learning environment. So this week we have optional reading, and that includes 8 things that you should look for in a student-centered learning environment and evidence of student learning. And you can explore Schoology and Edmodo. Those are both worth points. This week, please watch the lecture, record and respond on Flipgrid. You'll need to make sure you record your own video and create a response to somebody else's, and that's worth 25 points. And then work towards your tech quest. You should complete about 25 points each week. That will give you the 100 points each check-in that is required. So let's talk about our learning environment. Devices should not update this. Our classrooms should not look like this, but with computers on a desk. That is not the intent of using devices in the classroom. Devices are meant to connect kids to one another so that they can create, so that they can communicate, so that they can collaborate, so that they can critically think. So if you look at the students in all these pictures, there's multiple students, but many of them are looking at one thing together. Because in the 21st century global economy, what is valued is being able to work with one another to create and to be dynamic and agile. And you don't do that in isolation. So in these spaces, these students are up, they're working, they're in groups, they're inquiring, they're creating. And this is what our classrooms should look like. Gone are the days of students sitting quietly, being told what to do, and repeating that. That requires very little cognitive demand. And we owe our students more than that. We should allow them to struggle and to be there to question, cue, and prompt and guide, but not to simply tell them what to do. They're not robots. We don't program them. We have to build the situation so they can build those synaptic connections. So, our objective this week is to learn some specific strategies to create that type of learning environment. So, just a few are to allow your students to publish to different media types, to give them a chance to publish to authentic audiences and allow them to create and to use their skills in a project-based learning environment instead of isolating skills and kind of hammering those. So, having a choice in how to publish your learning. We should give our students an opportunity to write, to speak, to listen, to read, to create video, to create infographics. There's not just one way to communicate our learning. Traditionally, schools have emphasized writing as the main mode of communication. But many of us, when we don't know how to do something, not only do we read, we utilize YouTube, we utilize Teacher2, we utilize many different resources. I, for one, go right to the image search in Google. So, given the reality that communication can take many forms, we should allow our students to communicate utilizing different formats, different media. And so that is one example. These kids are using Flipgrid to explain their concrete understanding of multiplication. So here they're given a problem and they're using counters to um, to explain that it's equal groups. So just like you guys are using Flipgrid to communicate with one another, these fourth graders are using Flipgrid to communicate their thinking. Here, a student is using Screencastify, and she has explained this linear function in multiple ways. So 4 different ways. She's using Screencastify to explain that while using Google Drawing to create a visual representation of that. And here you can see there's visual representation and abstract representation of her understanding. And she's not communicating then that in writing or paper and pencil. She's using Google Drawing and Screencastify. The last example of giving choice to students to publish learning is these 2 examples where 3rd graders were allowed to either create a trifold pamphlet or stop motion animation video. So at the bottom left, you'll see a student created a trifold pamphlet about penguin migration, and the student on the upper right created a video of a butterfly migrating, and it's stop motion. So far we've seen Google Drawing, as we've seen Flipgrid, we've seen stop motion animation, we've seen trifold pamphlets, all as ways for students to communicate their understanding and to demonstrate their skills in novel context. So that was the first idea of creating a student-centered learning environment. The next practical application of creating a student-centered learning environment would be authentic audiences. So in the example that you're seeing at the right, this student was allowed to create a trailer using WeVideo. It's an 8th grade book. The teacher said, don't take an AR test, create a WeVideo video trailer of the book. He then sent that to the curriculum and instruction team that I work with, and we made a Flipgrid video back to her. As we made the video, she started to cry. She was embarrassed. And then all of the students stood up and clapped for her because so she really got to feel the support of her group. And then later on, she had asked the teacher if she could actually have the link. She wanted to share it with her mother. In addition to that, this teacher tweeted out this book trailer. And so when we talk about authentic audiences, we were an authentic audience, and so was Twitter. And so the teacher posted it on Twitter. The author of the book got a hold of the teacher and Skyped in to the classroom and had a conversation with the whole class regarding the book. So what could have been a 10-point quiz in AR turned into her impacting my curriculum and instruction team, her impacting the author, her impacting her teacher, her fellow students, and allowing them to have a novel experience. Another example of an authentic audience is here at Curran Junior High. One of the teachers coordinated a film festival and allowed the students to create also a WeVideo. This is a different junior high than previous. And they had to demonstrate a science concept and their understanding of that. And then they allowed the whole school to watch it and vote on it. And they got to rock the red carpet and demonstrate their understanding, not only in a choice of the media, but for an authentic audience. So the last application or the last way to approach having a student-centered learning environment is to allow them to demonstrate their skills or their knowledge in a project. So what you're seeing here is pictures of a garden. That garden was created by 4th through 6th grade special education students. And we watched video, we created video, we read, we wrote to potential donors. They learned about planting, they learned um, about building. So everything that they had learned, math, ELA, to communicate, science, they were able to put that into this beautiful garden. And we had a safe space that was created by students where we could continue to grow, and that impacted an entire school of 1,000 students. And the last example of project-based learning is a second grade class. So what you're seeing here is these are second graders. They're presenting using Google Slides. They have embedded video into the slides. They have embedded images into the slides. They actually made a presentation on a natural feature in Kern County they could choose. They used Kittl and Google to research that. They made physical models of their natural feature and input the picture of the physical models in there. To the left is the teachers designed that project. And here in the middle, you'll see a peer presentation rubric. So then the kids evaluated one another. So just to conclude, we really don't want to have our kids in rows doing exactly what they tell them. It doesn't require that much cognitive demand, and it doesn't build strong learners. What we want to do is create spaces where students are working with one another, communicating, creating, collaborating, critical thinking, and doing so in a flexible workspace that allows them to do those things efficiently. And some strategies to build these student-centered workspaces are to allow them to publish their media to different, or to publish using different media types, to allow them an opportunity to communicate with an authentic audience. And instead of isolating skills and teaching them in isolation over and over and over, only taking those skills to a broader context, such as a project. So that has been our learning today. Please make sure that you post to Flipgrid. This week, it is required that you post once and that you reply to another person. So that will be 2 videos. And what this week's video is think about you as a 6th grader. What would you have been more successful in? Would you have thrived in a project-based class? What if you got to create video, audio, podcasts, um, infographics? Maybe you're an introvert. Maybe you would have liked writing or producing. Would you have liked publishing to different media types? So, looking back at yourself as a 6th grader, what would have been the successful? What learning environment would you have been most successful in? There's a couple of tutorials also that are posted this week to help you with your tech quest. So if you do these 2, that'll be 20 points for this week. And then I encourage you to maybe try signing up for Remind or Class Dojo. Those are pretty easy, but these ones are a little bit more complex. So the first tutorial is how to create a YouTube playlist and embed that into your I'm having a brain fart. How to embed that into your website. And then the second tutorial is how to embed social media into your website. So those two tutorials will give you about 20 points this week. And if you have any questions about learning environments or how to navigate your tech quest, please feel free to email me. I'm available at any time. I'll shoot you an email pretty quickly, return your email pretty quickly. So that's it for this week. And I look forward to continuing learning with all of you. See you soon or talk soon. Bye bye.